All right. All right. Hello and welcome. Hello and welcome. Thank you all so much for being here. And welcome to another episode of the Empowered Immigrant Live. Thank you all so much. My name's Otis Landerholm. I'm the founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration A.P.C., where we fight for your American dream. And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. We're live. So thank you for tuning in. Whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, thank you all so much for tuning in, and welcome to another episode of the Empowered Immigrant Live. Today, our topic is, can I get a U visa without a police report? So we're going to talk about U visas today. We'll also open it up if there are any questions that are out there regarding immigration law. And so welcome everyone, and thanks so much for being here. All right. Remember, the Empowered Immigrant Live is here to train, teach, inspire, and empower immigrants to make the most out of immigration laws and to make the most out of their lives. And so thanks for tuning in. Today our theme is, can I get a U visa without a police report? And my question as always is, hey, do you want to apply for a green card this year? Do you want to apply for citizenship this year? Do you want to at least see what your options are, what your strategy are? You know, what would be the best way for you to fix your immigration status this year? Because if so, go for it, all right? Time is ticking. We're already in the month of October. We're in the last 90 days of 2024, ladies and gentlemen. And so time to get moving if you're wanting to get to the bottom of what your immigration situation is and whether or not there's a way to move your case forward. All right, there's that. Talking about some news before we get into the topic. Talking about some news, we're tracking the Biden administration's Parole in Place program, the Keeping Families Together Parole in Place program for spouses of U.S. citizens. Right now, that process is still paused, okay? The Fifth Circuit, the Eastern District of Texas, both have an administrative stay on the Biden Parole in Place program for spouses of U.S. citizens. The next update should be by November 8th, all right? November 8th of 2024, less than a month away, and we'll give you updates there. And of course, you got to know it. You got to know it. I mean, if you're listening to me, you do know it, that we've got a presidential election. All right, we got a presidential election coming up on November 5th. We are less than a month away, ladies and gentlemen, from an election that is going to rock our world. All right, it is going to make an enormous impact on the future of immigration law and on the quality of life for our clients and for immigrants throughout the United States, potentially even have ripple effects for immigrants and immigration laws throughout the world. And so this November 5th election is going to be a big one, and I want to get you updates and information about what's happening as that election's happening. Please subscribe to our channel to see all of that. Subscribe to our channel in YouTube because we want you to get the best information that we can about what's going to happen for immigration law. All right? It's a big issue. So if these things matter to you, hey, please keep coming back to our live sessions. Please keep tuning in to see what's going on, and thank you for being here today. So now for our topic. The question is, lawyer, do I need a police report to file for a U visa? Okay? And so before I answer that question, let me review briefly the U visa basics. All right? Let me review briefly the U visa basics. So in general, U visas are visas that are made to grant immigration status to people who have been the victims of certain crimes here in the United States. All right? To be eligible, there are 4 big requirements. First is you have to show that you were the victim of one of a certain list of qualifying crimes in the United States. So it's not every crime that qualifies. There's a certain list, and you can get that list on uscis.gov. I have gone over that list in many live sessions. I'm not going to go through that whole list right here, right now. But basically, you have to have been the victim of a pretty serious crime. If you've been the victim of any crime in the United States, I recommend having a consultation with a lawyer to see if the crime that you were the victim of is one of the crimes that qualifies for a visa. All right, this could change your life. Okay, so that's requirement number one. The second requirement is you have to have been helpful in the investigation or the prosecution of that crime. Okay, and that's typically where you have to have at least called 911. You have to have at least made a police report, typically. All right, you have to have at least reported it somewhere. Okay, that's requirement number two. You have to show that you either have been helpful or will be helpful in the investigation or the prosecution of that crime. Requirement number three is you have to have suffered a substantial amount of harm as a result of the crime that you suffered. And requirement number four, as with any visa, you have to be admissible. All right, you have to be admissible or eligible for a waiver. And the great thing about U visas is that they come with fairly generous waivers. Okay? Alec B., I see you there. You and me both. All right, thank you. Thank you for saying what you're saying. So, so that's U visas. And so to demonstrate your eligibility, it's like, do you need a police report to show that you were the victim of a qualifying crime? Do you need a police report that shows that you were helpful in the investigation or prosecution of the crime? I mean, it's normally the best piece of evidence. All right, normally when I'm meeting with a client about a U visa, I was like, hey, send me your police report ahead of time, and when we meet about it, we can talk about the strengths and weaknesses of your case, because the government, the immigration officers, they're going to want to review your police report. Okay? So normally a police report and having the report itself is the best way to show that you were the victim of a quote-unquote qualifying crime. And normally it's the easiest way to show if you were helpful in the investigation or the prosecution of the crime. We got to read carefully the police report. Okay? And there are some instances where you just might not be able to get a police report and you can still win a U visa anyway. Okay? So let me share some examples where I have won, where my office, my firm has won U visas without a police report. Okay? One of those examples is when the police report is under seal, which essentially means that you can't get access to it. Sometimes the reason a police report would be under seal is when the victim of the crime is a minor, underage. All right? And so if the police report is under seal and neither you nor me nor the government can get it because it's by law private, all right, it's not part of the public record, then normally we can use other things, you know, medical records, psychologist reports, things like that. Like if a child was the victim of a serious crime, often there are social worker reports or psychologist reports or medical records that can help show what the child was the victim of. And we can request that the police department certify the U visa, all right? And we can explain to them that, hey, we'd love to show you the police report, but that report is under seal because the child's a minor, okay, or because the victim was a child. So, so that's one instance. The second instance, which sometimes happens also, sometimes it's not the police that was directly involved, okay? And instead, sometimes the crime that has been suffered was reported somewhere else, you know, maybe to the sheriff's office, maybe to child protection services, maybe to a family court, maybe to a labor commission. maybe there's some other law enforcement agency that is involved in the investigation of this particular crime, depending on the circumstances. Those are possible, all right? Our office has one case, one U visas in those situations, right? Sometimes you have to get a Supplement B signed and certified by the Department of Labor. Sometimes you have to get it signed by Child Protective Services. I had to file a motion in one case that has been successful. We've done it. We have a couple of other cases in this situation that are pending, but one case where we won, right, that I had to go and was arguing and filed a motion to get a judge to sign the Supplement B because it was never reported to the police, but there were findings that my client had been the victim of domestic violence, and that those findings were done in family court. And so sometimes that's possible. All right? And so I just wanted to share those things today. That's really the point of my meeting today. And to let you know, before I take questions, to let you know that if you have any of those kind of unusual circumstances, you would want to work closely with your lawyer, right? Because whenever you're applying for a U visa, you want to make sure, whenever you're applying for any immigration benefit, U visas included, you want to make sure that you're submitting the evidence that you need to demonstrate each of the eligibility criteria. And for U visas, that means you got to show evidence that you were the victim of a qualifying crime and that you helped or were willing to help the appropriate law enforcement agency in the investigation or the prosecution of that crime. Okay? Typically, the police report's the way to do that, but in some instances, there are ways to do it through other agencies and without the police report. Okay? So that's basically the gist of my conversation today. I hope this is useful. I hope it's helpful. Are there any questions out there, and what questions are out there? And if you have any, send them my way. And if not, then we'll wrap up and we'll do this episode in Spanish in a few minutes. And I think the main thing to keep your eye on is the November election. And I think that's the main thing on most of our clients' minds right now. It's definitely on the mind of everybody here working in our firm, because it's going to have such a huge impact on the way immigration cases are proceeding going forward. All right? So if you're a U.S. citizen and listening to this, hey, be mindful of who you're voting for, and if immigration matters to you, and if you love immigrants like I love immigrants, if you know that immigrants are awesome, which I know that immigrants are awesome, because I meet with people all day, every day, right? And it's like, if you know that, like I know that, be mindful of who you vote for, all right? Because it's like one party gets that and another party really doesn't. And so you just got to be mindful, all right? That's my own stance, all right? That's my own stance. And so, Alec B., I see your question here. Thank you for asking it. Let me see this here. So you're saying, is the U visa only applicable to legal residents, or is it also applicable to undocumented immigrants? Are undocumented immigrants eligible to apply for the U visa without risk of deportation when they apply? All right. I meant to people that entered legally, etc. All right. Thank you for asking this question, and let me clarify this for everybody. One of the things that I love about the U visa is that it can benefit people even if the person in question has no immigration documentation, even if they entered unlawfully, even if they have a negative immigration record. We've won U visas even for clients that have deportations, right? And so it's possible to do that. The reason is because the government wants to encourage people who have been the victims of crimes to speak with the police regardless of their situation. All right, that's an important thing. That's like, if somebody's the victim of a crime, we've got to have cooperation with the police, and we've got to encourage cooperation with the police. Otherwise, the police can't do their job. Okay, and so yes, it's possible to win a U visa even if you're undocumented, even if you've got a deportation, even if there's other immigration challenges in the past, immigration fraud, whatever, you know. And when there are complications, it doesn't mean that your U visa case is automatic or easy. It is not easy, all right? Just because you can possibly win it doesn't mean that your case will be approved, okay? And so you got to be cautious. You got to be careful. You got to do it correctly. You've got to make your case as strong as possible to maximize your chances of success. Otherwise, they will deny your case. Okay? And so, yeah, anyway. So, Alec B., that's my answer to that question. Like, it is possible to win a U visa even with immigration violations in the past, right? And if you win a U visa, then no, there's no risk of deportation, right? And if you apply for a U visa, typically there's no risk of deportation there, all right? But if you lose it, then that's a question of policy, right? And that's a question also for the November election. If Trump wins, it's very likely that he would, because he did it in his first administration, NTA, or give a notice to appear, to go to deportation proceedings, people that have a U visa that's denied. All right? But if Kamala Harris wins, she would very likely say that those people are not a priority. They're not an enforcement priority. Okay? Unless they've got a serious criminal record or something of that nature. It's like we got to use our wisdom, and we've got to actually have a distinction between who is a priority to be put into deportation proceedings and who's really not, right? And that's one of the huge differences between the candidates in terms of how they'll apply immigration laws. All right. Fahim, I see you there. Hello. How are you doing? Thank you for being here. For folks here on Instagram, Leopoldo, hello, and Firlesa, hello. Good to see you both here on Instagram. All the folks on TikTok, Lazaro, hello, and Alexander, and Cecilia, and Louis, and Angela, and yeah, lots of folks here on TikTok. Thank you all so much. Everybody on YouTube, thank you all so much. Facebook, LinkedIn. Thank you all so much for being here. Really appreciate all of you. All right. Let me give you guys my empowerment tip today, and then we can wrap up. So my empowerment tip today is really about business. Sometimes I say this. If you are thinking of starting a business, I recommend it. All right. I'm biased because I own my own business, but I love owning my own business, and I never knew that I would. All right. Sometimes, I have a lot of undocumented clients who own their own businesses. And sometimes it's the best way for my undocumented clients to be able to get paid and to be able to charge what they want to charge. Okay? And sometimes, if you can't get a W-2 income because you don't have a proper Social Security card or whatever, right? You might still be eligible to open your own business, right? And then a person could hire you and hire your business and pay your business, right? Instead of hiring you as an employee. And so that's just something to be mindful of. And if you're considering starting a business as an undocumented immigrant, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to interview you. I'd love to support you. And so please get in touch. I'd love to meet you and have you be in communication with my firm. In 2025, next year, we're going to create a Empowered Immigrant Business Roundtable, just a lunch, where we'll meet for lunch once a month and we'll talk business. And so if you're interested in that at all, I encourage you to reach out. In fact, I was going to suggest, if you're interested in that, text my team or type the word business into a comment or a chat with my firm, and let's reach out. Let's stay in communication about it. Okay? That's my empowerment tip for today. And if you're, on the fence about starting a business, think that through. Think that through. It's definitely not for everybody, but man, it's been such a life-changing decision for me. I really recommend it. I really recommend it if you are interested in doing that for yourself. All right, it's such a powerful way to gain all kinds of strengths, all kinds of personal development, right? When you open your own business and reach out and try to put yourself out there to grow something, you take your destiny into your own hands, all right? So that's all I got for today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all so much for being here. I really appreciate it. El Kevin, hello, I see you there, and An Kahu, hello, thanks for keeping us informed. On board from Kenya. All right, Ann, thank you so much. Appreciate you. And so thanks, everyone, so much for being here. I really appreciate it. My name's Otis Landerholm. I'm the founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration A.P.C., where we fight for your American dream. If this content was useful, if it was helpful, if you want to just stay informed as we're coming up to the elections, etc., the best way to do that is to take a moment, go to our channel in YouTube. All right, go to YouTube and type in Landerholm Immigration, and then hit the subscribe button. All right, and just takes a moment, and when you do that, now you can get informed whenever we upload additional videos, etc., with news and updates. That's the best way to stay informed. When you hit subscribe, also hit that notifications bell, because then you can be notified whenever we upload an additional video. And as always, if you have an immigration case, or if you need help with your immigration case, hey, please give us a call. We're here to help. We'd love to help. All right? Thanks a lot, everybody. Make it a great day. Again, my name's Otis Landerholm Immigration A.P.C., where we fight for your American dream. And I'll see you next time on our next episode of The Empowered Immigrant Live. Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye-bye.